Follow us on Facebook at Off Script with Super E Podcast. Also follow us on Twitter at offscriptpod_1. Off Script with Super E recommends listener discretion, as these real but sometimes uncensored stories can be filled with mature content.
Hello, listeners. It's A-Train. What's happening? Super E.
What's going on, A-Train?
You know, I'm sitting here. I'm a little out of breath, a little sweaty. Did you
have to do a little manual labor?
I did. Yeah, we carrying stuff up from the basement for the neighborhood garage sale, and got a little winded.
Oh, having to carry up them boxes of tissues and load of Nerf balls.
Yes. I gave my wife all the heavy stuff, and I was carrying like pillows. So what are you up to today?
Not too much. Getting ready to tell you a tale from way back in the day.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, this is when Super E was actually a uniform officer, and shockingly, I was a training officer for new recruits to learn how to be an officer on the street.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And then we had a little break from the rookies, and so I didn't have anybody riding with me. We had just taken the run. Looked up in my rearview mirror as we're sitting there, and I saw a car coming northbound. And I was like, I'll make sure we're not in this guy's way. And then I said, hey, look at that. That's a 67 Buick POS LeSabre. Piece of shit coming our way. And then I said, man, there's something ain't right about this LeSabre. And what wasn't right about it, as it passed me and I looked out my window, the car was being driven by no one.
Okay.
There was no driver.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Is it the Headless Horseman is riding the 67 Buick?
What the hell?
You know, is Herbie the Love Bug going hood rolling? Rolling. And so I go, hey, Hollywood, there ain't nobody behind the wheel of that car. I think I must see what the hell's going on.
Yes.
So I jump in behind it, and again, the car's going northbound. I can't see nobody drive it. I get on the radio and go, Adam 140 control. They go ahead and add 140. I'm getting ready to stop a 1967 Buick LeSabre, black over white. And I go, Adam 140, how many occupants in the vehicle? I said 0. How many drive? No, description of the driver. I said 0. What? And they're like, description of driver. I go, there is no description. I believe it's an invisible man. And, I could tell they're like, what is going on? I could hear them laughing. And I said, yeah, control. I can't see anybody driving. And I said, I'm going to light them up right here, because we went through the projects, out of the projects, and into an area where a bunch of vacant houses where all the winos would congregate and get drunk,
right,
with their wine bottles.
Your uncles, yeah,
Uncle Dave,
Dave.
So I lit the dude up. Boom, he takes off. He goes about, I don't know, a half mile, and we're still in the shitty area of vacant houses. And then he slams on the brakes, comes skidding to a stop in that big-ass Buick, jumps out. And now I see that there is a driver. He must have been crouched down with his fingers. I don't know how he could see over. But this son of a bitch takes off running. And, he's scared, and adrenaline's going through his body. So he immediately turns into Edwin Moses. And I'm trying to keep up with him. And he cuts between a house that's north of me, so I cut between a house that's just south of him. As I'm cutting between the house, it's of course it's no grass, it's all uneven ground. It's like vacant houses on the moon. That's what it looked like. And I chase him, and there's like a wooded area around this little part of the project.
Yeah.
There's a wooded area, and he jumps into the woods, and I'm in there, and then he jumps out. I chase him like another 30 yards, and he goes into an area of a patch of woods about the size of a garage, and he's laying down low. And then I'm on the radio. I'm like, Adam 140 control. I got him here in a little wooded area. I could see all the way around. He's definitely in here. And then I heard cars, we're coming your way, Adam 140. I go, 10-4, I've got the situation. And I'm like, hey, you son of a bitch, I know you're in there. You made me run. Come on out. Don't make me come in after you, because it looks like there's a lot of mosquitoes in there. And
you don't want to get malaria.
Yeah, I don't hear anything. And then one of our lieutenants comes up, super nice guy. And I said, hey, the dude's right in here. I just watch. I'm going in and getting him. He goes, you ain't going nowhere. I go, what do you mean, Lieutenant? He goes, I'm calling an ambulance for you. I go, what for? He goes, look at your leg. I look down at my right side, my right leg, and on the outside of my thigh muscle, I noticed a rip in my pants. Mm-hmm. I just thought, I must have ripped my pants on something. I'm like, no, now you're really in trouble, you son of a bitch. You ripped my new pants.
Right.
And I said, I'm going in and getting him. And the lieutenant goes, no, I'm calling you an ambulance. Look inside the tear on your pants. A-train. I had a cut, two or three cuts on my leg, and I had one big cut. Mm-hmm. I could see all the way down to the muscle.
Oh, dear.
When I did a roll on that, there was a bunch of broken glass. Uh-huh. And I guess I landed on a big shard of glass that was like a scalpel. And it sliced all the way down. I could see a gaping wound. Started bleeding. And now I'm really mad. I said, this fucker, I'm getting him. He goes, no, he had to physically restrain him. I was like, I'm going to get him. I'm getting you. And he goes, no, you're not. They call an ambulance. And they said, fuck this guy, let him go. They didn't care. They were just looking at my leg because I'm bleeding. They throw me in the ambulance. And of course, they cut off my pants leg of my brand new pants that I just bought.
Yeah. Well, you could just wear them as shorts.
My police skirts like Lieutenant Dangle.
Yes, just like Lieutenant Dangle.
I would have started a trend.
Great.
But anyways, so they zip me to the hospital. I don't feel anything because all the adrenaline. I'm not feeling anything.
Right.
But by the time we get to the hospital, that adrenaline's wearing off. And guess what? It's starting to hurt like fucking hell.
Yeah. I'm
like, wow, this fucking hurts. They whisked me in there, and this doctor, I think it was a doctor, could have been Dr. Mangula. He comes strolling in, and I said, hey, man, this is really starting to hurt. He goes, yeah, you got to cut down to the muscle. Of course it hurts. He goes, but what we're going to do is we're going to numb it up because we got to sew that up because that's extremely deep. Mm-hmm. I said, all right. He has this big ass needle. Mm-hmm. It's like, to me, it looked like it was 15 feet long. Like, if a gun's pointed at you, it looks bigger. Mm-hmm. Syringe pointed at you, it looks humongous.
Right, or your own penis.
Well, let's don't get crazy.
You look down at your penis, you think it looks way bigger than it really is.
No, it's like objects in the mirror. You definitely look smaller than you actually are. But so he goes, okay, I'm going to numb this up, but I have to put this needle inside the wound. Oh. So this is going to be like really intense pain. Uh-huh. And then I thought he said for like 2 seconds. Uh-huh. I said, okay. I said, okay. I braced right. He goes, no, it's going to be intense pain for 30 seconds. I go 30, and he goes plunge. I go, yeah. 30 seconds is an extremely long time. Yeah. When somebody's digging a needle in you. And he was turning it around, I guess, to put all the... And I'm breaking into a sweat. And I'm like, wanting to, get at him. I'm trying to claw at him a little bit. And then, finally, when 30 seconds is over, he goes, oh, whew. And I said, oh, thank God that's over. And he goes, yep. We're finally done with shot number 1. I go, shot number 1. He goes, shot number 2. He does a second time. Oh, and I'm like going, oh my God. And I'm trying to keep it together. And then finally that 30 seconds is done. I said, you son of a bitch, you better not say get ready for shot 3. And he just looked at me. And all of a sudden, plunged the needle in. I'm like, I thought you said there was no shot 3. He goes, you told me not to say shot 3. Oh, my God. And then after they sent me home, when the pain medication wore off, my leg, it was so sewn up with stitches that I couldn't straighten it out, do anything. So I was walking around like Frankenstein Chester from Gunsmoke. And I was like, that no good son of a bitch.
That was Invisible Man.
Yeah, that fucking Invisible Man asshole. And so I was off for like 4 days, but like I said, it's hard to move around, but I had gone down and got a warrant for his arrest because I found out the dude was an escapee from prison on one of those work release things. I guess he just walked away.
Uh-huh.
And
how'd you figure out who it was? Do you remember?
Yeah, from the description and plate number, I think it was his girlfriend's vehicle, and they were looking for him. And so, see, by then I gained more of a description besides the Invisible Man, who was an asshole.
Right, as you were chasing him.
Yeah, so as, go ahead.
He was an escaped convict, or at least escaped from work release. Okay.
Yeah, he was escaped from the work site. You know how they used to go from the jail, work on something?
Yeah.
He walked off there. What? And I think it was his girlfriend's car. And so I guess they figured out who he was and told me. So I go down and get a warrant for his arrest. And I thought that I should be able to go lock his ass up. Sounds fair to you, right?
Absolutely.
So my first day back to work, like a week later.
Yeah.
One of the big bosses, captain or whoever, kind of stops me and goes, listen, I know you're thinking about going and locking that guy up, but you ain't going to have any part of it. What? And I go, why not? He goes, well, everybody within the 3-block radius heard how you was going to kick his ass, blah, 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 that son of a bitch. So, I don't want you. I said, I'm not. I'm level-headed. Don't worry about it. And then he goes, what's that in your pocket? Nothing. He pulled it out. Oh, the to-do list. Eat breakfast at Hardee's, take a shit at White Castle, kick the shit out of the guy. That made me cut up my eye. Oh, I found that on there. So I was given strict orders. Stay away from that guy. Don't go anywhere near him.
Dang.
Because they all thought I was a maniac.
I guess so.
Yeah, since I almost had my leg cut off. And I was like, all right.
The injury just keeps getting worse.
Yeah,
it was a 1-inch cut. Now my leg's cut off.
Now I'm a peg leg. I'm a pirate. That was the good times in uniform.
Man, oh man. Now, I'll tell you, okay, so I got to go back to when he was invisible, right?
Right.
So what? He was just crouched so low that you just couldn't see it. You couldn't see his head at all.
Yeah. I don't know if he's opened a door and was feeling on the ground like Ray Charles was creeping in the 6-7, but I was like, I don't. Control's like a description of the driver. I can't see. There's nothing.
Now, when you were in the car chase with him, did he put his head up to at least do that, or? I
couldn't tell during the car chase because remember, he's in a 67 Buick LeSabre that had a great big V8. So when he stomped on it, that thing was like a rocket.
Right.
Zoom.
Right.
So it took everything I had. We had 350s in them Impalas.
Yeah.
But still, when he kicked it down, man, he was gone.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. So okay. I've never had a car chase with the Invisible Man or any other villain in the comic books. Wasn't the Invisible Man? Wasn't he a bad guy? I don't remember.
I think the Invisible Man was a good guy.
Was he? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think he was a good guy. But this was an Invisible Man that went bad.
Right.
So anyways, yes. And you know what? I completely forgot about that for 35 years. I just thought of it today, in fact. I looked down and saw the big-ass scar on my leg that's still there.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Have you got a scar?
Oh, it's a big scar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds really weird. Upper thigh, lower thigh.
Yes, it's upper thigh, Larry Flint. If I'm wearing my super short shorts, again, Lieutenant Dangle, where the pockets hang below the shorts, you can see it.
Okay. Well, I was just asking because I'm thinking, maybe we need to take a picture of it, post it on our social media.
Thanks.
And yeah, Super E's war wound. So
maybe we can take a picture of the boil on my back that I got from being tased at Taser training.
Gotcha.
That was a nightmare.
Okay? Are you serious?
I'm serious, man. And, they for some dum got a brilliant idea that the vice detectives who were locking up prostitutes should have a taser.
Okay.
But I knew it. I said, I don't want one of those.
Yeah.
No, you got to have it.
Nah.
Well, it kind of backfired on them because, when the hooker decides to jump from the moving vehicle and you tase them, what happens? They plank and they fall out like a 2x4 and bounce down the street. So that was not a good thing, but they made me take it. So that meant I had to go to training.
Right.
And they said, do you want to ride the Lightning? Because everybody, for some reason, has to be tased. Do you want to ride the Lightning or do the daisy chain? And I go, daisy chain sounds kind of punkish.
Now explain what you're talking about there.
That's where everybody locks arms, and then each guy on the end grabs a wire.
Okay.
And then they blast them.
And that's the daisy chain.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm the only one said I'd ride Lightning, and when that was involved with was my partner. We'll call him Tef Gooden. For some reason, he had to be the one to stand over me with my shirt off and shoot me from like about 3 feet away with the taser so to make sure the prongs hit me. and I was like, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I had no idea how bad it was going to be.
Yeah.
And he shoots me with them prongs and then that taser thing. I thought my stomach was going to explode like Alien and something was going to come out and go, way to go, dumbass. You rode the Lightning. I was like, ah! And that, I thought the 30 seconds of pain was bad when I was getting the needle.
Yeah.
This 5 seconds of the taser was the worst 5 seconds of my life.
Damn. And you've been shot and had cancer and all that. Yeah.
So that was child's play compared to this. And then a couple of weeks later, I started noticing I had a pain in my, just something hurt. And I thought it was like a pimple from where they just ripped out the sharp prongs. I got an infection, and I had to have that lanced. And then, so that was like in 2010. Fast forward 7 years later, I started noticing that bump was getting bigger. Next thing, it's the size of a golf ball on my back.
What?
Yes, and it started hurting like hell. And, you think women are zit monkeys. Like, let me squeeze that. Let me get a knife.
Yeah.
My wife is the total opposite of that.
Okay.
I don't want to see that. That's gross. And I'm like, can you not help me? And I thought this was my sister. She would have been jabbing at me with a knitting needle and taking no prisoners. So then my sister-in-law comes over, my wife's lovely twin.
Yes.
She's studying to be a nurse. Can you do something about this? And she's like, I don't want it. I'm like, oh my. Oh. So it got so bad. I can't believe I did this. Okay, this is grossing everybody out, but we're going with it.
Let's hear it.
I went and found drawing salve at CVS.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, what?
Drawing salve.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
Well, it's something that you put on the wound to draw out the infection.
Oh.
Back in Daniel Boone days, they would use like bear fat to put over infected wounds.
They'd use a poultice.
That's basically what it is. It's a poultice.
Okay.
But this poultice smelled like pine tar.
Okay.
So you're thinking, is this Mark McGuire's bat? But I rubbed this on me, and it brought it to a head. Okay. But nobody had helped me. And of course, it's on my back to where I can only see it in the mirror if I'm holding a mirror. So I'm holding a mirror, looking in the mirror, and I can see I got this giant boil on my back. Nobody's helping me. So I had to one-hand it with a needle, jab it in, and then start squeezing the shit out of it. And there was, you might have to edit this.
Nah.
There was so much pus shooting. It kept coming out in big globs, shaped like cones. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to do the very last one. I squeezed it. I was like, ow! And I felt a pop.
Yeah.
And it was the last part of the core.
Okay.
But I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's not in my hand. Where'd it go? And remember, my wife's grossed out by everything.
Yeah.
And so, she's in bed. I do this too. I said, where is that big pile of gross pus? I couldn't find it. And I was like, shit, if she sees it, she's going to bitch for weeks. I get up early the next day. She's prattling about in the kitchen making breakfast. And so I go into the bathroom just to wash my hands. And she says, hey, you going to be done in there? I got to get in there and wash my hands. I said, I'll be in here in a second. I start to wash my hands. I look down at her special scented bar soap that she always uses. There's a giant pile of my boil pus. Oh, no. I was like, oh, shit. And I wiped it off real quick right as she comes walking in. Are you about ready? I got to wash my hands. It's so gross. And I said, here you go. Here's your special soap. Good. I hope you didn't get any of that gross back pimple on it. No, dear.
Oh, my God. Yeah, she would have flipped.
Oh, yeah. And she could throw a punch, so you better look out.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Okay, so holy moly. So now, wait a minute. You're saying that the site, and please disregard that beeping. It's just somebody calling me. The site of this boil is where one of the taser prongs went in.
Exactly. It's the exact site. Because basically they're not like, okay, let's gently remove these very sharp prongs. They just ripped it out. All right, let's go get some lunch. Rip. And I was like, ow. And then within 3 or 4 days, I started feeling, it felt like a pimple. And I looked at it because I looked at, and I saw it that very night where the hole was in my back. And a couple of days later, now it's a pimple.
Yeah.
And then I, was able to get that squeezed out. But then it just slowly started growing. And I was like, well, I can't get to that. And my wife won't do anything.
So you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I think you should sue the department for damages of pain and suffering. And
marring my perfect backside.
Yes, absolutely. It's marred the chiseled
yes
Adonis that Super E is.
Oh yeah.
All right, we've lost it.
I know. I see the viewership declining.
Yeah,
even more.
It is. Well, listen, those were fantastic stories. Hope our listeners have a strong stomach for the end of that. And I might ship this to Dr. Pimple Popper. I can't think of what her name was, but that would have been a good one. All right. Well, that's good stuff. You got anything else?
Well, I just hope nobody eating mashed potatoes was listening to that.
Yeah, tapioca pudding.
Okay. That's enough.
And on that, we're going to end.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.